Thank you very much, Kia. That's very true, because now every Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, viewers can now tune into SABC3 to get top business tips from the man himself, Greg Mason, who has vast experience in business since he's been working for 14 years in the corporate financial services industry. And it's when he was head of change for one of the largest financial services groups in South Africa, where he worked for 12 different companies, that he developed his overriding passion for identifying challenges and obstacles in business and then developing the solutions required to tackle them head on. Great to have him here. Greg, how are you?
Well, and yourself?
Good, man. Good, man. I must say I'm very privileged and honored that the first thing I heard from Greg right now is, nice watch. That means I'm doing well. I'm doing well on the business front.
Just got good taste.
But let's talk about the show. I mean, exciting as you've heard from Kia and myself,
yes.
Looking forward to watching it. What's the format of the show like?
Well, fairly much, the way that the program works is we deal with these real people. Mm-hmm. So it's about going into real businesses with real issues. And I go in the beginning and I get to grips with the real issues of the actual business. So it's understanding the problems, understanding I call it the belief systems
yes.
of the business owners,
mm-hmm.
and to really work out exactly what needs to be done. From there, we put a plan together, and I then push the various business owners out of their comfort zone. And that's the big part of the show. It's about taking someone and physically moving them from here to over there.
Yeah.
And once we've done that, I then set them some tasks. And then I follow up on a regular basis. And where needed, I bring in an expert, because I wish I was the expert in everything, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So we then bring in the experts, and they then come in and actually help out at various stages to get these businesses to that next level.
Yeah. Take us through some of your highlights that you've experienced on the show. I mean, like you said, you speak to real people, real problems. This is about real business.
That's right, yeah. I think if I start off there, really, for me, it's about changing the people and what I call their head trash, their beliefs. Some of the guys that have been on the show at the moment, they've got such limiting beliefs, mm-hmm. and it's about really getting them to understand what those belief systems are, and then moving that belief system and changing it fundamentally. And hopefully we'll have some clips later. We can actually look at one or two of the individuals. Numbers, for me, people don't know their numbers, and it's a big problem. Because if you don't know your numbers, you can't make decisions on your business.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, people don't market their businesses. So.
And I mean, if you're not marketing, then nobody knows about you, then your business is really essentially going nowhere.
Well, that's it, yeah. You're going to fairly much stay where you are, and you're going to plateau for a while.
Yeah. Now, I know that we do have those clips that you were talking about, the two businesses that we're going to be highlighting, one being a home bakery. Tell me about the challenge that you faced there.
Old Graham from Delish, okay, lovely, lovely chap. Unfortunately, Graham had some trauma in his life.
Okay.
So what happened for him was he got to a point where he said, I'm out of corporate, and I want to follow my dream.
Yeah.
So he left the corporate world and he took the leap and he started a business on his own. The challenge with Graham, though, is that he had some anchors, mm-hmm. and he wasn't able to really take his business to that next level. He didn't have a plan. He never had a business plan to work from. So he was fairly much just chasing his tail most of the time.
Yeah. Which is kind of, I think, what most business people kind of end up in. You start with a great idea, and you know where you wanted to go, let's say 20 years from now. You start off and it starts off great, but at some point you get stuck because you don't know where to go.
You do. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes all-consuming. So with Graham, he was in a situation where his house and his home and his business was all one. So we really had to take him and separate the two and say, let's take out your business from your home, create that distinction for you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of small businesses who actually work out of their garage, work out of their kitchen. Mm-hmm. And in Graham's case, I don't even think his kids could make a toasted sandwich.
Wow.
Because he's making cakes.
Tell us about Manny and his curry business.
Well, Manny, interestingly enough, for me, it was a bit of a twist in the tale for that show. Mm-hmm. She came up from Durban to buy a business from her cousin, and relied heavily on trust. Okay. So she bought this business. Someone told her what the business was doing in terms of cash flow. She came up to Joburg. She hadn't done a due diligence on the show. She took all her money, all her life savings that she had, and she was about to plow that money into the business. And when I looked at the numbers, what we realized was that what the business was producing in terms of cash flow didn't resemble what was on the paper.
All right. Now, I mean, obviously, entrepreneurship is something that's highly encouraged by government right now. A lot of funds are being put into that. So if you were to just give some top tips to people out there at home wanting to start off their own businesses, be their own boss, what would you say?
Well, for me, probably the first is find a business, number one, that's viable. Okay, so if I take Manny's situation, she went into a business that wasn't viable. So it's make sure you choose the right business. Secondly, have a business plan. And that's a big theme up to now, is that I haven't seen too many business plans floating around in the episode. So have a business plan. and then really make sure that your product and your service is targeted to the market. Okay, and if you don't know what you're doing, get some proper advice.
Yeah.
You know, get out there, speak to your business banker. I know Standard Bank can offer a lot of advice. We've even got some modules on the internet site that the various business owners or entrepreneurs can go and have a look at on the Standard Bank Business Coach. So there's a lot of information there available. But for me, don't do it alone. Speak to somebody.
Do your homework. Do your homework and work with somebody else as well.
Totally.
Well, Greg, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Any pleasure.
And of course, at home, you can see the Business Coach every Sunday at 4 p.m. on SABC3. We'll be right back after these.
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.